button. Everybody out there that's been waiting or that's coming on, they can catch up with us. So hey guys, I'm Jason Morris. I'm the founder of the group Real Estate Agents That Really Work. I do group coaching. I train agents all across the country. I just had my another best-selling book come out called How to Be an Expired Master. Just came out. It's the #1 book in the real estate sales section right now on Amazon. And it literally walks you through everything, your whole entire expired system. So one of the keys to having an expired system and having a good listing system is to have listing leads. Wouldn't you agree with that? If you want to list more properties, you're going to have to talk to more sellers. Therefore, you're going to need more people that you can talk to that you can sell their house, right? So that's what we're going to talk about tonight is how to get those leads. Well, we know how to get the leads. We subscribe to Redx. But what do we do once we subscribe to Redx? I think that's the problem everybody's having. Give me a yes or no on that. What do you do once you subscribe? Right? And what do you actually get? They offer a lot of stuff. They offer a lot of stuff. What do you actually get? So we're going to go through like some basic ideas. There's a couple things I believe that you need to be successful. And I think this goes with every type of lead, but I think with this type of lead even more so because, when you subscribe to something like Zillow, all of a sudden you get an alert. There's one sitting in your email. When you subscribe to something like Redx where you're getting a data, it's a little bit different because you're not necessarily getting them in your Reddit. You're not getting them in your Gmail account, right? You're getting them when you log in and you update the system on a daily basis. And in most markets, guys, not only does Redx, and we're talking about expireds here, but not only does Redx update every day, they actually will update and tell you which ones have already been relisted. I mean, I think that's a great feature. In the markets where they're not doing it automated, it's because of your MLS and because your MLS don't want to share a data feed with them. But if you talk to tech support can tell you how you can do that really easily and how you can set it up easily to get to do it. So what do you need to be really successful? The #1 thing I think you need is a plan. You need to know what to do. And I'm going to give you a little bit of framework to work around that here tonight. And the #2 thing you need is sticking power. One thing I see a lot of agents do is they go out here and they subscribe to a lead service. They never make the calls, or they make the calls 2 or 3 days. They make four calls and they get 3 wrong numbers. Guys, I'm going to tell you something I learned from doing surveys in my group coaching is that it took about 22 conversations to get 1 listing appointment, okay? Now, the problem most agents have is out of that 22 conversations, there's only going to be 1 person. Based on those statistics, you might be a little better, you might be a little worse. But out of those 22 people, there's only going to be 1 person that sets an appointment and invites you to allows you to come sit in their living room and talk to them about selling their house, right? There's only 1 person. A lot of agents focus on the 21 people who said no. Now, to be honest with you, I don't really care about the 21 people that said no. I only care about that 1 person that said yes, right? Because those other 21 people, you do have the opportunity. Maybe today wasn't a good day. Maybe right now is not the right time. Maybe it's Thanksgiving tomorrow and they're having a lot of family in town and they can't let you come this afternoon and they have no clue what's going on this weekend. So we focus on the people that want to work with us today. That's what we have to do. And my sticking power is sometimes when we're in these sales professions and sometimes we're in these things, we have to have a little bit of pig-headed discipline. And I see a lot of agents, they go, oh, well, I have to dial in a lot of numbers. I'd rather do Facebook ads, or I'd rather do Facebook Marketplace. I'd rather put ads on Facebook Marketplace. The thing is, Facebook Marketplace, you're going to get a lot of leads when you post ads, if you post ads correctly. Okay, but you're still going to go through tens of dozens, probably 100 contacts before you get one actual lead that can do something. So guys, let's take And we're going to go, I tell you what, how about if we just pull up the Redx website and we start looking at what products they actually offer, and we actually look at what we can what you can do with the specific data. Okay. So I got the website up, guys. If you want to, the link for the actual Black Friday special for Redx is jasonmorrisexpiredleads.com. jasonmorrisexpiredleads.com. So what Redx gives you, it doesn't matter what lead source you get from them. They give you their CRM. You can see the little picture over here on the right-hand side. It's called Vortex. Can you see this? I'm not seeing it post up. Facebook sometimes a little bit delayed. Cool. Okay, there it goes. So so Vortex, there's a little picture on the right-hand side. That's the CRM. With whatever lead source you get from them, the CRM is included as a free bonus. They give you a way to keep up with your leads, give you a way to keep up with your contacts, give you a way to keep up with the stuff that they're sending you. So now the lead sources. Okay, so let's talk about these here. Let's go with expireds first, okay? I'm going to get out my notepad and stuff and tell you a little bit about who I've contacted and what I've contacted before. So now the expired stuff, the regular price is $59.99. Now they offer a lot of packages and a lot of stuff, and some of them that's coming up on Cyber Monday, the stuff that's come up on Cyber Monday, I'm going to go ahead and tell you everything they've told me is they have a ton of package deals, and some of these package deals are 37% off. And Tatiana, today this is about Redx, and it's about the different ways that I've personally used their data in the past that's been successful for me. So some of the packages are up to 37% off. This is the only time of year they ever do a discount. So if you're thinking about doing it, Monday is going to save you more money than any other time. So the website is Jason Morris expiredleads.com. I'll take you to there. So expireds themselves. Okay, of course you've got the new expireds, right? So when you're calling the new expireds, one of the things that you need to do is you need to, I'm a big believer in calling them. Now I'll tell you, the day they expired, you're going to have a lot of competition. But once they get, one of the things about their system that's really cool is once they get about 30, 60, 90 days old, the ones that haven't relisted, those are typically golden, right? A lot of those first agents that called the first week, they've already went through the objections. Now, here's the funny thing about agents, okay? Once they get one objection, once they get two objections, most of them just go ahead and take that number off the list. When the person tells them, the person says, hey, Alicia, we don't want to work with an agent. We don't want to put our house back on the market right now. Of course they don't. They expired yesterday. They've had 50 people to call them. And most of them haven't had near as many calls as what they think. But the thing about the new expireds is you have to keep calling. Now, I'll be honest with you, even if you're really bad on the phone, even if you're new starting out, dude, everybody's bad their first day, okay? And the thing is, these new expireds, if you are bad on the phone, just hang up, call them back 2 days later. They probably won't remember you. But I find that they start getting good. They start getting good about 60 to 90 days after they expired, the ones that are left. It seems to me like what happens with them is the day they expired, 1/3 list right away. They've already got an agent picked out, whether it's the same agent or it's a different agent, but they've already got an agent picked out. That's 1/3 of them. Okay, so then there's another third that's going to relist, and those are probably going to be 30 to 60 days, 90 days out, right? That second third of the expireds is going to relist. They're just not really sure what to do today. Then there's another third that, honestly, I don't know what happens to them. Some of them disappear. They take their house off the market, and they plan to leave it to their grandkids in 50 years where they pass away, right? But the point is, we don't know which ones are going to do that, so we got to call them all. Now, the biggest thing I want to tell you about expired data is mined data. So I'm going to spell that for you, mined data, right? So what this means is there's not a website where Mr. Seller that their house expired this morning is going to and saying, "Yep, my house expired. Let me put my cell phone number. Let me put my cell phone number I got yesterday in here." That doesn't exist. What happens is these listings expire. Redx uses some automated software that they have actually developed in-house. I've been to their home office. I've seen it. I've met the programmers and all that stuff. And they have this fancy software. It pulls in data from your MLS. It automatically looks up the listing based on the tax map number and the address. Okay, and then it starts cross-referencing databases, looking for this. It has an algorithm that cross-references databases, okay? And that algorithm tries to find the numbers that are most associated with it. Now, Redx offers two different types of data. Okay, they offer a regular expireds, and then they offer Onyx expireds. Okay, so if you're brand new to calling, please just get the regular expireds. Don't get the Onyx expireds. Okay, the difference is the regular expireds. The algorithm searches the database and stuff, and it finds the number that best suits that address and that piece of property. The Onyx expired program, what it does is it searches the databases and it looks for every single number that has ever been associated with that address, and it gives you all of the data, right? So I've heard some agents, so being a new agent to prospecting, if you subscribe to Onyx, I'm just going to be honest with you, you're going to be a little bit overwhelmed, right? When I first subscribed to Onyx, when I first told me about it, I subscribed. It was one of those like, oh my God, like there's 5-6 numbers for each listing. And what my job was to actually go down through the listings. It was actually to go down through the listings and find the listings that find the correct numbers. I was the data sorter. With the regular expireds, the algorithm does some sorting for you. However, I will tell you the Onyx expireds will get you numbers that nobody else gets. But you got to sort through all the bad numbers to get to the good ones, right? Expired data will never be 100% accurate. So now the new expireds are fantastic, right? The new expireds are great. If you're doing any type of property management, if you're doing leases in your office, I will tell you this: if you're doing leases, back when I was doing property management on a property management company, one of my number one sources of properties for rent was actually Redx expireds. Right. So if your market is allowing leases and you're doing leases in your market, guys, that's another great service that you can offer that a lot of agents prospecting are not offering, expireds. So it's offering leases. Now let's delete some of this stuff. So I'll tell you the other thing I like is I like the old expireds. Okay. I really like the old expireds. Now we're talking about using their system and calling them up and basically getting a year, 2 years. Maybe if you're in a market that's appreciated a lot, you might even want to look at 3 years, right? You might even want to look at 3 years. And I don't think that would be like a bad thing to get 3 years of data. And the reason is because some of those people that want to sell 3 years ago, maybe they didn't have the equity that they needed to walk away with what they wanted. They still like to sell. Maybe it was rental property that they just signed another lease for. And those are good deals too. And we're going to get to that here in just a minute. But these old expireds are fantastic. One of the things I've talked about in my group coaching here towards the end of the year is going through getting a couple of years of old expireds, getting all your for sale owners, all the leads you have, and calling them all and weeding through them. Typically what I find is if you go out and you get a year, 2 years of old expireds, you call through them one time, you'll get on the first pass through. Now, depending on your market, you'll probably get, you might get 1,500, 2,000, 2,500 leads doing this, but you got to call them all. Some markets you might get more, some markets you might get less, just depending on your market, right? But if you call down through those, you're going to get about 1 to 2% of those are going to want to do something in the next 30 to 60 days. Guys, getting these old expireds, you can ramp up your business like crazy over the next, say, like 2 to 4 weeks. You can fill your pipeline with a crazy amount of leads. For you guys that got my book, Jason, How to Be an Expired Master, there's a bonus section in the back that talks about the $100,000 notebook plan. This is that plan, getting this expireds. And guys, you can get that for $59. So I think that is a fantastic lead source, and I think it's one you got. If you talk to superstars across the country, you're going to realize that most of them are doing expireds. Now, Geo Leads, let's chat about this for a few minutes, because I think this is one of the most versatile programs they have. Now, I know there's a lot of agents out there right now, and Geo Leads starts at it's $49.99, and that's look up 2,000 numbers a month. And they offer some different packages, and of course, this is going to be part of one of those packages on Cyber Monday. So Geo Leads. Now, you can just cold call, right? You can just pop in an address, pull up the neighborhood you live in, and 1,000 homes around. You get 1,000 numbers and start hammering out numbers. And I know there's a lot of agents that like to do that. And guys, I'll tell you this: in my coaching program, I don't talk about making cold calls very much. And one of the reasons is because I didn't like to make cold calls in the past. I don't like to make cold calls now. Raise your hand or give me a thumbs up if you do not like to make cold calls. Right? We got one person. Okay, got 2 or 3 more. Okay. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. Nobody likes to make cold calls, right? Cold calls suck. Even talking about cold calls sucks. Okay, so I like the ideas of warming people up, calling with a purpose. I really like that. But the first thing is you can pull up an area, and I'll tell you what, if you're making cold calls, if you start calling the same area like every 30, 45 days, then you start sending out a mailer, you start doing some targeted Facebook ads, you start doing several other things other than just like turn and burn, call this 1,000 and then just call the next 1,000 and the next 1,000 and never do a repeat call. Guys, you could call that same 1, 2, 3,000 people, 5,000 people over and over, and then add it in an integrated approach, and it would really make things a lot more effective. Rather than calling 10,000 numbers a month that are random numbers, call 1,000 once a month and then add in maybe a mailer or something like that. Just a tip for you guys out there. And that repetition is going to keep your name in front of them, and all of a sudden they're going to know who John Michello is. They're going to know who Gary Cherkis is, right? Because hey, they got the voicemail in their answer machine. They got the mailer in the mail, right? They got the note on the door where they were door knocking. It's going to give you a lot more impact. So you can do cold calls. Okay, the number 2 I really like is open house invites. And nobody really does this, right? A lot of agents are going out there, they're having an open house. They say, oh, we're going to do it Friday from 1 to 4, and they go out at 12:30. They stick out a sign. They don't even stick out a balloon if they're allowed in their market. They stick out a sign, and they just hope people are going to show up and get some cookies. And if they don't show up, they get to eat all the cookies. I think that's the idea of these open houses for some agents. Like, hey, I'm not really going to do a whole lot. I'm just going to stick out the sign, and if nobody shows up, I get to eat all the cookies I cooked. Right? That's not the way it's really supposed to work. I don't know if you guys know that, but it's not the way it's supposed to work, right? Suzanne, you're exactly right. If you call around your open house, if you really want to have an open house that's going to have some impact, you take the neighborhood, you put it in Geo Leads, you call the neighborhood, and you go, Hey, Tara, this is Jason Morris with eXp Realty. Just wanted to give you a call. We're having an open house on Saturday. It's from 1 to 4. I wanted to invite you. It's at 123 Main Street. It's your neighbor right down the street. I want to invite you to come take a look at the house. Do you know anybody that might be interested in purchasing? They have a 3-bedroom. I know there's some 4-bedrooms in the neighborhood. Do you know anybody else who might be interested in selling? Right? So you get the opportunity to invite them there. But then if they show up, that's fantastic because you get to meet them face to face. If they don't show up, guys, you get to call them after the open house, right? So you have the open house on Saturday. Maybe you call them on Sunday or call them on Monday. You call them back up and you go, hey, Tara, this is Jason Morris from eXp Realty. Hey, we talked the other day. Sorry I missed you at the open house, but I want to tell you we had 22 people show up because you count every person that comes through the door as one. We had 22 people show up. Yeah, it was fantastic, fantastic. A lot of activity, a lot of buyers looking in the neighborhood. Hey, do you know anybody else that might be interested in selling their house in the neighborhood? I mean, think about that, guys. How powerful would that be if you called and invited to the open house, and then after the open house, you called and asked them again if they knew anybody in the neighborhood. And then maybe you did an open house again in a month and you did the same thing. Guys, if you've done that in some larger neighborhoods and you've done it like once a month, maybe every 3 weeks, guys, it wouldn't be real long and everybody, hey, and if you door knock the neighborhood on top of this, putting out little flyers in their mailboxes and stuff, well, not in their mailboxes, but in their front door, if they're not home, guys, it would only take 2 or 3 times before everybody in the neighborhood would know who Brian Walsh is. Everybody in the neighborhood would know who Eric Hudson is, right? So, Susan, exactly. I got a couple of leads from it already, just making 65 calls, calling one street only. Guys, and for you guys that don't know, Susan is actually in Canada. So, and what that means for the rest of us that's in the United States, Canada doesn't really allow you to call expireds. And they've got some funky rules that we don't have in the United States. But guys, using Geo Leads and calling for open houses works. Now, you can do the same thing for just listed property. Call the neighborhood. Hey, Brian. Hey, this is Jason Morris from eXp Realty. Wanted to give you a call. Just had a house that came on the market. Wanted to call you and see if you knew anybody that might be looking in your neighborhood. I wanted to call you and see if you wanted to pick your neighbor. Right? Guys, just listed. Hey, it doesn't even have to be technically your listing, right? Doesn't even have to be your listing. You can call based on any of them. Hey, we've had 2 or 3 properties coming on the market. I was wondering if you knew anybody looking to move to your neighborhood. So just listed is a fantastic one. Pending sales. So guys, I like calling pending sales. Hey, this is Jason Morris. Just want to give you a call. Hey, 123 Main Street just went pending down the street from you. I was wondering if you knew anybody else in your neighborhood that might want to sell. Aren't these examples, aren't these a lot easier than just calling up and go, hey, David, Jason Morris with eXp here. Hey, want to sell your house? Right? Those calls don't make a lot of sense to me. Just telling you guys, they don't make a lot of sense to me. I think that this is probably one of the most versatile products. Now, pending, you could do just sold. You could do just sold would be a great thing. You can look for community happenings. And what I mean by community happenings is, say, hey, they're expanding the road. A great example is up in North Myrtle Beach. I work in the Myrtle Beach market. Up in North Myrtle Beach a couple of years ago, they had a project where it was going to be to dredge the canals and stuff in North Myrtle Beach. Basically dredge the marsh so boats could get in it. And they had these little finger canals and they wanted people to access them. Well, they were voting on a major assessment to do this because they were going to charge everybody that had a house on the front of this marsh. Now, this was hundreds of houses. And guys, this assessment was going to be anywhere from, it started out as going to be anywhere from like $10,000 to $30,000. It's a major assessment. And I mean, these were on houses that at the time were selling for $350,000, $400,000. We're talking about an assessment done by the municipality that's going to be 10% of the value of the home. or possibly 10% or more in some cases. And believe me, there was a lot of people that wanted to sell there. And you could take, if you follow your market, follow what's going on, really going on, it's a great opportunity to do this. Great opportunity to do this. So I think Geo Leads has just a lot of great things. You can pair it with, you can take the numbers that you get, you can pair it with another service. You can do mail outs to them. You can do Facebook ads to target that geographical location. And you can literally take Geo Leads and you can build a people farm over time, right? Rather than farming a neighborhood just with mail, you can add this to a lot of your targeted geo marketing. And I think that's something that us as agents are just not doing. So for sale by owners. Okay. So I'll tell you something about for sale by owners. A lot of agents know me. My original book was How to Be a FSBO Master, and it had it had a funky cover that I got a lot of interesting feedback on. You can go check it out on Amazon if you'd like. Andy, I'm happy to answer your question. Just elaborate a little bit more on your question and what changes are you talking about. So for sale by owners are an interesting thing. It's always been one of my Andy, you should be able to target with Facebook. There still is geographical targeting features. So for sale by owners has always been like the bread and butter of my business. When I first got started selling real estate, they were just easy to come by, right? I was a broke college kid. I didn't have a lot of money. Worst case, I could drive around neighborhoods and I could find a sign or two here and there. Then they got easier. The problem that most of us have is we say, hey, we're going to start calling FSBOs. But the thing is, we don't go on Craigslist to get them. We don't go on Zillow to get them. We don't we don't do anything to get them. So we time block that hour and we start out the hour with 0 numbers. We wait until the hour starts before we look for a for sale by owner. What Redx's service does is it allows you to open your laptop and you have the leads there. Now, another thing that Redx's for sale by owner service does is even if technically you're not calling them or you've been calling over a period of time, or you don't call them for 2 weeks, whatever you do, those for sale by owners are going to keep gathering in your CRM. So you're basically going to have, it's going to be long, and you're going to have a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and you're going to have all these for sale by owners. And we know that most of the time a for sale by owner ends up listing with a real estate agent. The problem a lot of agents have is that they're one and done. They make one call. They say, oh, we don't want to work with an agent right now. And the agent goes, oh, they don't want to work with us. Oh, man. So, and then nothing happens from that, right? So, so it ends up being basically a waste of time. Guys, and this is one of the reasons why you have to have a system. You have to have planned follow-up. This is one of the reasons I done the follow-up master day planner, is most agents will talk about calling for sale by owners, but they don't do it. And guys, a lot of this is what I teach in my group coaching on how to build that system, right? I have this belief that we're not in the business of selling houses. We're in the business of selling a service that sells houses. The problem that most of us are having at listing appointments is we don't have anything to tell people about that service, right? We go into the listing appointment, we shoot from the hip, we hope that we'll get lucky. We try to stay as long as they'll possibly let us, and then they list the property with somebody else. Have you guys seen that? Yes or no? That's what happens with a lot of agents because they don't have a system, right? I learned that the hard way too when I was selling real estate. I would think, wow, these people love me. Wow, they invited me to dinner. No, I'd been there an hour and a half, 2 hours. They were hungry. They wanted to go eat. They wanted to eat. That's why they invited me to dinner. But for sale owners have constantly been a big part of my business in the past. And guys, if you're in a market that is real tight, that doesn't have a lot of inventory, guys, For sale by owners are going to come back. I promise you. I promise you. And I'll tell you one thing too, the aged for sale by owners, I always feel like the older they are, the better they are sometimes, right? Sometimes they don't want to do nothing right now, but you give them a month, you let them fail. Sometimes we're all hard-headed and stubborn. We want to try something on our own, and we try until it works or it doesn't work, and then we try to come back. Now, guys, for rent by owners, how many of you guys are in a real competitive market? If you would, in the comments, put what your market is that's really competitive. Now I've got this idea. So I see a couple people in California. Awesome, California. I hear crazy stories. I'm glad I'm not a real estate agent there. We got Laney's in Miami. Miami's a fantastic market. It's absolutely beautiful there. So now, if you want to work on something that is going to have very little agents that are competing against you, for rent by owners is a crazy service, right? I've got Orlando. So I got this idea a few years ago. So I used to own a property management company. At one time, we were managing around 350 individual units for individual homeowners all over the Myrtle Beach area. And one thing I learned doing that was most people that were technically landlords and owned rental property never really wanted to own rental property. Have you guys noticed that? Most of them, the way they ended up with a rental property was they got stuck with it. There was a problem that they couldn't fix. Maybe it was going through probate. It was a family property. Maybe they were upside down on the mortgage. Maybe, the tenant just moved out. They just couldn't wait long enough for it to be on the market before they had to get it rented again because, A, they couldn't afford to not have a check come in. Have you guys seen that before? So there's a couple of things I feel like we know with these leads. A couple of things. Number one, they never wanted to be a landlord. I think there's very few of us out there that actually want to be a landlord. And the ones that want to be a landlord, me included, sometimes I think that we might have a problem, but most people don't want to be a landlord, okay? Number two is they are one problem away. And I'll tell you what, I've had these issues in the past. You just got that house, and man, you got a tenant that just won't stop. You got a tenant that is relentless, man. They always have a problem. They always have an issue. They're always late on their rent. They have some craziness that's going on all the time, right? I literally had one last week that my tenant was chasing her boyfriend down the road with one of those big knives like you see in the horror movies. And the tenant that lived across the street, that was mine too, called me because they wanted me to call the cops. They didn't want to call the cops because they thought somehow the next door neighbor would find out they called, right? It's like, man, so typically most homeowners or most rental property owners, man, once they get that problem tenant, once they get that tenant that goes through eviction, once they get that tenant that just trashes the house, they just want to get rid of it. They don't care if it burns. They don't care what happens. They just want to be done with it. And I think what you have to do with these, so this is the way that I've worked for rent property in the past, okay? When the lead come in, if I got the lead, number one, I tried to make contact, right? I wanted to make contact with them. I want to send them our pre-listing package. I want to basically have some kind of conversation with them, send them my pre-listing package, follow up, make sure they got it. And then for the next 12 months, 18 months or so, I want to call them and do a follow-up call like every 30, 45 days. I don't want to put them on a drip because I'll tell you guys that are using the email drips that come canned with CRMs, I'm going to tell you, they're not working. I don't know if you guys realize that, but Google is really, really smart when it comes to spam filters. And email open rates are constantly declining. And a lot of these companies that are providing these automated email services, those emails are being sent out by, 500, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 real estate agents. Those emails, Gmail picks up on them, before you even push the send button. But I want to make contact. I actually want to talk to them on the phone, exchange a text, exchange a personal email, an email specifically for them, not an email for them and 100 people like them, right? But I want to make contact, right? And then I just want to follow up. So in what I'm following up for, we know that more than likely, we know most leases are only 12-month leases, right? Most leases are only 12-month leases. So something's going to happen. If they put a rental property on the market today, something's going to happen in the next 12 months. Either they're going to have a problem tenant, a tenant that moves out, a tenant that gets evicted, a tenant that's just a headache, or that lease is going to end probably next December. So how amazing would it be? Let's just say these for rent by owners, if we started adding, just say one a day on average, right? One a day on average that we actually talk to. And we're going to say 25 a month. And you get more aggressive than this, but 25 a month equals 300 a year. So this is 300 property owners that own homes and they don't live in the home. And probably 90 to 95% of those never wanted the rental property in the first place. And they're probably tired. A lot of them are probably tired of it. A lot of them are probably just breaking even. A lot of them are not cash flowing. And guys, if we head into a little bit of a recession, where rental rates go down, and they will go down, look at them in your market. Most rental rates are not making a lot of sense right now. Rental rates will go down. Once they start going down and they go down, say $100 across the board in your market, that's going to be the make or break for a lot of these homeowners. Why are you not starting today building your database of these for rent owners and keeping in touch with them? Why are you not doing it? I guarantee you nobody's doing it in your market. Now, this is not a short game. I'm going to repeat that. This is not a short game, Zachary. You're probably not going to get a listing this week, but you go 60, 90, 120 days, 180 days, right? You build the business, you build the database. 3 months from now, 4 months from now, you got 100 you're calling and following up with. You're taking one scheduled prospecting time to follow up with for rent by owners a month. And what's going to start happening is in 6 months, 5, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, guys, when these people start having a problem, when these people start having issues, you're going to be the agent they know because they've had 4 or 5 conversations about what's happening in the market, what's happening around their house. Guys, if you're in a tough market, let's just say you don't want to call expireds because you think they're mean. Guys, for rent by owners. So pre-foreclosures, guys, pre-foreclosures. Now, I'll tell you where these leads are coming from, right? Pre-foreclosures come when there is a filing at the courthouse notifying everybody that the property is going to get foreclosed on. So a few years back, there was a lot of these. This is the part of the business I really, really enjoyed because I felt like I'll be honest with you, I was helping people. Sometimes they were in denial about me helping them during the first conversation. But the thing is, after a few conversations, after a couple follow-up calls, after reality set in, a lot of these people, they were not in reality. They didn't believe that they were going to get foreclosed on. They didn't believe that what was happening was actually going to happen. And lots of times it did happen, unfortunately. But guys, there's a lot of opportunity with pre-foreclosures. The same thing. You got to have a game plan. You got to have the leads, right? This is a funnel that we're all building. This is a funnel, and you got to have the leads to dump into the top of the funnel. Imagine it being like a filter, like you're putting oil in your car. If you don't have any oil, the filter's useless, right? The funnel's useless. You got to keep dumping oil. You got to dump oil into the top of it, and then it filters through. So this is the exact same thing. Pre-foreclosures, I think it's a fantastic lead source. Some of you guys that are in markets that are already slowing down, this may be even a better lead source right now, but I guarantee you, in most markets across the country, in most places, even if you're in one of these markets that the market's skyrocketing, even Orlando, Miami, I guarantee you there's still pre-foreclosures. Now, this is not a foreclosure. This doesn't mean they're getting auctioned off on the doorsteps next month. This just means the paperwork has been filed, the notice of foreclosure has been filed, the list pendants has been filed, right? So that is if you can contact them early in this stage, the seller in a lot of cases right now, they have the opportunity to still walk away with some money. So and I think it's unfortunate the ones that don't take that opportunity. A lot of it, guys, is they just don't know how we work. That was one big thing I learned about a lot of pre-foreclosures. And back then we were doing a lot of short sales. But one of the things I learned was that they thought when a realtor came to their door, a realtor came to their house, the realtor was going to charge them to sell the house. Thought we were going to charge an upfront fee. And the thing was, we didn't charge an upfront fee, guys. We're a performance-based profession. We get paid on our results. If we don't have results, we don't get paid, right? And that's the thing about these that a lot of these people didn't understand. They had options that the time the short sale, the bank lots of times would pay the commission without a doubt, like 99% of the time. So lots of times they didn't understand that. And even now there's a lot of opportunities still out there with pre-foreclosures. A lot of opportunities, guys. So guys, if I could answer any questions, we're going to have question and answer time here in just a second. So let me get back to my slide sheet, and I got just a couple more minutes here. Guys, so the two things that we talked about here is you got to have a plan with the leads. Guys, that's one of the big things that I teach in my group coaching is what to do with these leads. I teach agents to have a business that works for them, right? A business that works for the lifestyle they want, right? A business that they can control their time. I see too many agents out there working 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And guys, I did that for years. I did it until I thought I had a stomach ulcer. I was steady gaining weight. I felt like crap all the time. I ate like crap all the time. And literally, like, I thought I was making a lot of money, but honestly, I was at the beck and call of my cell phone. When my cell phone rang, I felt like I had to jump. Guys, if you're tired of that, and you want a predictable schedule and a predictable income, you need to be a part of my group coaching. You need to have a plan. You need to build a seller-heavy business, and you need to have a plan. Because, guys, if you are a 100% buyer-oriented, I can tell you right now what your life is like. Your life right now is basically you're in reaction mode 100% of the time. So, guys, and then you have to have sticking power. You have to be willing to stick around. So the Redx Special, they have a lot of package deals. Guys, I'm going to be sending out an email. They're putting an email together for me to send out. Be on the lookout for it in your email. But I'm going to tell you, the Redx Special, these packages are going to give you up to 37% off. It's the biggest deal they've ever done. There's never been a discount like this. Of course, if you pay for subscriptions up front, pay for 6 months or a year up front, you get a little bit better discount than if you're on a month-to-month plan with them. But you can be on the countdown. This link should work here. If it doesn't already work, it should work here shortly. JasonMorrisExpiredLeads.com. It should work to get you on the countdown there. So you'll be ready for it when Cyber Monday comes, and you'll be notified of any deals they got and all the specials, a complete list of packages and everything. If you go there and just sign up and get started now. My group coaching, I'm going to tell you guys, I'm offering my group coaching. Some of you guys are in my group coaching already. Some of you guys have been in it. Guys, if you're brand new to my group coaching, I will give you the first month for $1. That's right, $1. Right? Just go to jasonmorrisgroupcoaching.com. Use the code BlackFriday1, all together, one word. Okay? And worst case is, guys, I'm going to tell you, my group coaching's month to month. You can cancel anytime. Okay? With this $1 trial for the first month, you can go in, you can get all your listing systems straight. You can get your whole listing business set up. You get your schedule set up. Basically, you get the archives, plus you get the new calls during that time, but you get the archives so that you can set up your entire business so that you can have more control, so you can have weekends off, so you don't have to worry about going to show a house on Friday rather than spend time with your family, right? So these are some common questions. It's month to month. You can cancel anytime. I do one live call a week. It's Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. Now, we have a private mastermind group, and we do occasionally do some live role playing. Usually I try to schedule it Monday, Tuesday night, something like that. And I do some special calls depending on what's going on in the market, what questions I'm being asked. I'm happy to do these special calls with you guys. You get the whole archive of material. I'm available for you by messenger, email, and of course I do some phone appointments with agents as needed, but you will learn to cost effectively build systems that will help you build a business that works for you, right? So if you're already in my group coaching, you really want to commit to it. It's regular $40 a month. So once that $1 subscription ends the first month, it's $40 a month. After that, it's month to month. You can stay in it as long as you want. So now I'll tell you, if you want to go ahead and commit to a full year of Jason Morris Group Coaching, you can get 4.5 months for free. This is the Black Friday Cyber Monday special that I'm offering. You just go to the same website. You go to the same website here, and you which is Jason Morris. It is Jason Morris groupcoaching.com, and you use the same coupon code, which is Black Friday 1. And guys, it'd be regular $480 for the year. It's $40 a month times 12. Using this coupon code, you can sign up. You get the whole year for $300 the first year, the whole year. So technically, it's 4.5 months for free, or basically it averages out to $25 a month, right? We're spending more on coffee. So guys, I have the most affordable coaching that is the most comprehensive. It's based off my experience. It's not based off of ideas or theories and all that stuff. The URL, Paul, is jasonmorrisgroupcoaching.com. That's jasonmorrisgroupcoaching.com, right? And Lainey, if you're already a subscriber, you do have the opportunity. Anybody that's already a subscriber can sign up, pay the full year in advance, and it'll be $300 for the first year. So you end up with 4.5 months all for free, or basically it averages out to $2,500 a month. So that is for existing subscribers, the $300 for the year deal, Laney. So if you're already a customer, do $300. Now the Redx deal, that is, you can add services, this new services and the new packages and things like that. They are included in the Redx Special. They are included in the Redx Special. They do have some deals, Susan, if you want to add Storm Dialer. I'll tell you this. I think Storm Dialer is a good idea. I'll tell you, for years, I dialed based on, dialing the actual number, right? I sat there and I dialed the actual number. And And you know what? I was kind of against dollars. I tried out Mojo Dollar. I wasn't really happy with them. And I was like, oh, I don't want to waste money on a dollar. I'm just dialing my cell phone. The reason I was happy, I felt like I didn't get a lot of people on the phone. And I questioned some of those things because I see a lot of agents making a lot of dials with Mojo and they're not selling much real estate. Storm Dollar, I tell you what, I always like the one line dollar better than the three line dollar because it gave me a little bit of time between calls. And sometimes I felt like, I mean, I've been selling real estate for almost 17 years, but sometimes I feel like, hey, I need that, 30 seconds, a minute to reset between calls sometimes. And the one line dollar gave me that. I could listen to some music. It'd be kind of a relaxed thing. It wasn't like, white knuckle gripping the whole calls, hoping that the person answered that just got hung up on, right? But I like the regular one line dollar, and Susan, that will be part of some package deals. I'd call them. I'd sign up for the Jason Morris expiredleads.com. And guys, I'm going to email that out to you guys. So if I can help you with your business, if you have questions about my group coaching, if you have questions about signing up for the first month, the trial period, if you have questions about signing up for a full year and really committing um, to my coaching, really committing to your business, and really committing to building a heavy listing business, send me a message through Facebook. I'll be glad to answer any questions you have. And guys, I will talk to you guys soon. Have a great night.